Chapter 1. Trouble at the Copper Coin. Fredric lay in bed, his eyes shielded from the piercing sunlight by the covers. His mother's calls from the tavern downstairs stirred him from his half-slumber, but he resisted, curling up deeper into his bed. Eventually, the persistence of her calls roused him, and he peered through the crack in the curtains, noting the sun's high position in the sky. The weariness of the previous night's labor still clung to Fredric as he recalled serving a group of rowdy drunkards until the early hours. Their rude remarks and mockery stung, especially their jabs at his mother and his own perceived weakness. Yet, amidst their boorish behavior, Fredric found solace in their fanciful tales of adventure, his dreams ignited by their exaggerated exploits. However, he knew such dreams were but fleeting fantasies, for he could never abandon his mother to run the tavern alone. Summoning the strength to rise, Fredric dressed in his customary apron and descended the creaky steps into the bustling tavern below. The clamor of patrons filled the air as he made his way to the kitchen, where his mother, already hard at work, greeted him with a sharp directive. "Where have you been? It's almost midday. We're behind on orders, and I can't handle it alone. Go work the bar and serve the men some mead to calm them down," his mother barked, her tone reflecting the strain of the busy tavern. "Sorry, Ma. I'll get right on it," Fredric responded, his voice tinged with fatigue. As Fredric served the patrons at the bar, he couldn't shake off the exhaustion from the previous night. The day wore on slowly, with the sun descending towards the horizon, casting long shadows across the tavern. Just as the last of the customers departed, an unexpected sight greeted Fredric. Two elves, an old mage and a young archer girl, entered the tavern, their presence drawing curious glances from the patrons. Approaching Mary, Fredric's mother, the mage inquired politely about lodging. Fredric, feeling a surge of confidence, stuttered out a response before correcting himself with more assurance. However, the elven girl's reaction to his enthusiasm was less than welcoming, her annoyance palpable as Fredric grinned sheepishly. "Sorry if I startled you. We don't get many elves around here," Fredric said, trying to break the tension. The elven girl's eyes narrowed, her voice sharp. "We're not here to be stared at. We need a room, that's all." Mary, perplexed by her son's sudden boldness, confirmed the availability of 2 rooms, though the mage insisted on only one, citing the need for a watchful eye. 100 copper coins for the room, Mary stated firmly, holding out her hand. The mage reached into his bag, revealing a faint blue glow as he retrieved the coins. Fredric couldn't help but be intrigued. "What's that?" he blurted out, unable to contain his curiosity. The elven girl shot him a withering glare. "None of your business. Keep your nose out of our affairs," she snapped. "Calm yourself, Arena." "The lad's just curious," the mage interjected, giving Fredric an understanding smile. Mary scolded Fredric for his nosiness, but the mage assured her it was not a bother. With a sigh of relief, he settled into a seat at a nearby table. "Oi, human boy, bring us some food," Arena demanded, her tone curt. The mage glanced at her reproachfully. "Remember your manners, Arena." "Please," she added grudgingly. Fredric quickly brought them roast boar, his cheeks flushing with embarrassment. "Anything else I can get for you?" he asked, eager to make amends. "We'll have a glass of elvish moon fruit wine," the mage replied, his tone gentle. As Fredric hurried off to fetch the wine, he couldn't shake off the feeling of excitement mingled with apprehension. As Fredric approached with the glass of wine, a burning curiosity overwhelmed him. Unable to contain himself any longer, he blurted out, "Are you adventurers?" The words tumbled out of his mouth, almost as if they had slipped out unintentionally. The mage chuckled, a twinkle in his eyes. "We're mercenaries on a job to retrieve something for a client," he explained. "But one could see what we're doing as an adventure if you wanted." Fredric's eyes lit up with excitement. "So you're real-life elven adventurers? How is it like traveling through other territories? Have you been in a fight yet?" He bombarded them with questions, his eagerness palpable. "Well, aren't you an excitable fella?" Arena interjected sarcastically, her annoyance evident. Sorry, I've just always loved stories of adventures and have always dreamed of going on my own. Fredric apologized, his enthusiasm undeterred. Arena laughed derisively. Do you really think you'll be able to make it as an adventurer with your small frame and weak body? Never tread on one's dreams, Arena, for some. It is all they hold dear. The mage interjected firmly, his words carrying weight. Whatever you say, sir. I'm going to bed. You take watch tonight, old man. Arena scoffed, her tone dismissive. Fredric decided it would be better to retire for the night as well. Exhausted from the long day's work and the whirlwind of emotions stirred up by the elven visitors. The next morning, Fredric rose early, his mind still consumed by thoughts of the previous night's conversation. As he descended the stairs, he found the elven mage still seated at a table, a calm aura surrounding him. How was the guard duty, sir? Fredric inquired cautiously. Preparing breakfast for the mage. Nice and uneventful, just how I like it. The mage replied with a contented smile. Fredric noticed Arena had not yet emerged from her room. Packed and ready to go, old man? She asked coldly as she descended the stairs. No, I am first going to enjoy the meal this young man has made me. It is only polite, the mage replied, his tone unwavering. Arena sat down with an annoyed expression, refusing to engage in conversation with Fredric. Suddenly, 3 unfamiliar men entered the tavern, their presence unsettling Arena. One of them eyed the mage's bag suspiciously, prompting a tense exchange. That's a nice bag you have there, sir. Mind if I see it? The man inquired, his tone aggressive. The mage stood firm, refusing the man's request. You know, over the years, I've learned how to read people's body language, and you look mighty protective right now, almost like you're protecting something. The man taunted, a hidden blade emerging from his cloak. In an instant, chaos erupted as a hidden blade emerged from the man's cloak, aimed at the mage. Fredric watched in horror as the mage deftly dodged the attack, a sense of dread settling in the pit of his stomach. As Arena leapt into action, Fredric's instincts kicked in, and he found himself leaping between an archer and Arena, bracing for the worst. Before he could react, a blinding flash enveloped him, and when the light cleared, Fredric found himself where the mage was standing moments ago, his senses reeling from the sudden displacement. When he finally came to his senses, he saw the mage hunched over in pain with an arrow piercing his body. In a fit of rage, Arena hurled her blade towards the archer's head, killing him in an instant. As the dust settled, Arena held the old mage in her arms as he cast one last spell before his time is up. Suddenly, a small blue wisp floated gently from the mage's hand into Fredric's chest, leaving an intricate glowing marking on his chest. As the mage breathed his last breath, Arena gave out a haunting cry of anguish for her father.